Hi everybody, this is Dr. Audrey Reille. I'm doing this quick video today to answer the questions that were submitted by the participants in my coaching program called How to Accomplish More in Less Time in Higher Ed Administration. So let's see, question number 1 from Anna. Hi Anna. You make an important distinction between the time spent working versus the time spent thinking about work. How do I stop thinking about work when I'm home? You know what? It's really a great question because what I was explaining in the course is that I see a lot of people who are stressed and overwhelmed because they are under the impression that they're working a ton of hours, but they are working maybe a little bit more than 40 and spending a ridiculous amount of time thinking about work when they're home or over the weekend. So that can be extremely draining. And I'm not going to say when you're home you can't do any work, but definitely when you're home, be able to make the distinction between, are you really working and getting something done? Are you making progress, or are you just thinking about it? And if it's draining and if you're spending all this energy thinking about the problem without being able to make any kind of progress, that's where I'm saying just stop doing it and be able to see the difference when you're making progress versus just draining your energy without creating any kind of results. So you're asking, how do I do this? Well, first of all, I'm glad that you agree. That's a good thing to think about work a lot less when you're home. So how do you do it? So first of all, when you're home, hopefully there's something there that really can get your attention. So to start, you have to be very deliberate in putting your attention on something else. You can find, I don't know what you have in your home, but hopefully family, your pets, or hobbies, or just things that can get your attention. So consciously choose to put your attention on something else. And then reduce distractions, well, not distractions, reduce anything that can really get in the way of you being at peace. So for example, you may want to turn off notifications on your phone, or even better, just deactivate your work email and lose the habit of checking your email too much and getting into that work mind space when you're home. So little by little, it's going to get easier and easier to do that. But you know what? Honestly, when I see with my clients what's really going on when they're thinking about work when they're home, it's one of two things. It's either that they are under a lot of stress and they don't really trust that things will be okay. So they need closure, they need progress because they're in the state of fear. So ask yourself, is it really what's going on? Is there fear there? And if something is wrong, definitely you need to address that, because if you need that closure, we need to figure out what's causing you that stress, that anxiety, that fear, and you need to be able to get back to a place of peace, a place of trust, a place where you know that things will be okay. And when you know that whatever's going on, you can handle it tomorrow and really nothing's going to get accomplished tonight, it's going to be much easier for you to change your focus. And the second thing I see a lot with clients, it's actually not about fear, it's about pleasure. There is great pleasure that's coming from problem solving and engaging in the work. So being home, if your choices are cooking and you hate to cook, do dishes, you don't want to do dishes, or think about work, or even get back on your computer and you love what you do, then you have to realize that it may look like an addiction, but what it really is you're choosing something you like over something that you don't like. So you have to really pay attention to all this. If you're finding it difficult to stop thinking about work, what's really going on? Is it because you love it so much and maybe it's almost an addiction? It's hard for you to stop because you like it so much. Or is it a lack of trust? Trust that things will be okay. Trust that you'll be able to get your work done tomorrow. So do a little bit of soul searching. Definitely be very deliberate in where you put your attention and what you do with your free time. Because remember, just like you read in the program or you heard it on the audio, thinking about work when you're not working on anything, you're not solving, not making progress, that can be really draining. And honestly, if you are in a relationship or if you have people at home living with you, they would probably love for you to be present, to be mindful, and to be in the moment with them. And maybe even stop talking about work so much, because sometimes we really annoy people when we keep talking about our work and they don't share the same passion. So keep all that in mind. I would also really recommend some kind of mindfulness practice. If you could learn to do a little bit of meditation and expand your practice, it would be fantastic. Learning to quiet your mind is one of the biggest gifts that you can give yourself. So I'm going to stop here and I'm going to go to the next question, but I hope I gave you at least something to start with. For those of you, by the way, who found this video on YouTube and you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is a Q&A that I'm doing to answer questions from participants in the program. And if you're not in the program, you're more than welcome to watch the video anyway. If you're interested in finding out what this program is about and you want to sign up, you can still do that. It's not too late. So just look in the description. You're going to have a link to the program page. And if you happen to be watching this, not on YouTube, but on my website, just look at courses. It's going to show you what's available right now. Okay, let's see what else. Next question from Jennifer. Thank you for sharing Parkinson's Law. I think it's a real problem in higher ed. We take too long to complete things. How can I change the culture? Well, that's a really good question. For those of you who haven't gotten to that part in the course, Parkinson's Law explains that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So what I mean by that when I use Parkinson's Law is that, let's say you have 1 month to complete a project. Well, how long is it going to take you? It's going to take you 1 month. If you have 6 months, it's going to take you 6 months. It's just the nature of human beings, the way that we do our work. When we have more time available, we start adding in complexity. We start to make this so much bigger than it needs to be. And maybe we're not as focused, and maybe we're allowing distractions more. So whether we are making this harder than it needs to be or we're less focused, the result is we always take as much time as is available. And it's very much also why sometimes you'll see some people who are really good throughout the day at getting their stuff done and getting out by 5 or 5:30, because if they have to be somewhere else, they have to leave. So the whole day, they know that I can't waste time. I have to get my stuff done because I have to leave. And they're usually much more productive than those who have all day. Those who say, I don't mind staying late. I can work long hours. It's fine. If I get home at 6, 7, or 8, it's okay. Or I can take work home tonight, or I can catch up this weekend. Usually those people are actually much less productive. So remember that when you want to get something done, it's much better to allocate a specific amount of time. So that goes for long projects, but it also goes for, let's say if you have a task, let's say if you want to write a report, and you know you can do it in 45 minutes, don't give yourself 2 hours, because you will really take 2 hours. You have to watch the clock and really keep yourself accountable to only giving the project the amount of time that it requires, and not letting it expand and basically blow up in proportion, because that happens more often than not. So anyway, I'm explaining what this is for those of you who haven't seen that yet in the course. We just launched. This is brand new, so I don't expect everybody to be at the same page quite yet. So let's see, your question was, how can I change the culture? You know, it's a really good question. How do you change the culture? Most certainly not by lecturing people and telling them what to do, but by modeling that behavior. So what you need to do if you want to change that culture of taking too long, every time you're in charge, every time you're the leader, and something new needs to happen, instead of saying, well, let's create a committee and meet once a month for the next foreseeable future, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, who knows, look at this and say, all right, realistically, how quickly can we get this done with high quality? Please know I never suggest that you sacrifice on quality. Quality is always there, but it doesn't have to take forever. So model that behavior. Look for opportunities to create structure in how you delegate and in how you lead, and really model by example. So when people see how you're doing things, it's going to help shift the culture little by little. And when it's your responsibility to give guidance to other people, do the same. Hold them to those standards, but do it in a very friendly manner. It's important that they don't feel pressured or set up for failure. They need to understand that what you're expecting is very reasonable. And when you make it so clear as to what they need to do and by when, I don't mean micromanaging. I'm just saying not let things be ambiguous, so that they know. They know what to do for you to be happy, for them to get a good evaluation and do a good job. So again, lead by example. Model that behavior, and that's how little by little you'll change the culture. If you sound judgmental, and if you come out and just say, we take too long, we're not effective, and blah, 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 it's not going to help change the culture. You're just going to make enemies. People don't like to feel judged. They surely don't like somebody getting in their face telling them what they do wrong. So just keep your judgment to yourself. If you have it, I understand. It's one of the many reasons why I left higher ed. It's really things were taking too long. I have the mind of an entrepreneur. I get stuff done quickly, and delays weren't working so well for me. It was a cause of frustration, to put it mildly. So I understand, but you get to model the behavior and be a leader and change things in your area. So let's see. What else? Next question from Sarah. Thank you for your advice on making meetings more productive. That was priceless. You're welcome, Sarah. There is no question. So let's see, what else can I say? For those of you who haven't gotten to that part yet, when you work in higher ed administration, meetings are a big part of your week. Let's face it, I don't know any administrators that don't have a ton of meetings. So when meetings run really smoothly and they're effective and they're productive, it actually can be a really good experience, but when you feel you're wasting time, it can be torture, and then it can set you back. And that's how you end up working long days, and that's how you are so busy with the day-to-day activities that you don't really have time to pause and have time to look at the vision you want for your department or your area of responsibility. So it's a huge opportunity right there. The way you manage meetings, huge opportunity for you to gain some time, increase productivity, get more done. And as I share in the course, there's also plenty you can do when you're not the chair. Even if you're just a participant, there are ways you can move things along and still get value from the meetings. So thank you, Sarah, for your comments. Everyone else, I hope this is encouraging you to get to this part of the course. All right, next question from Daniel. Daniel, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I used to work with a Daniel British and a Daniel American, so now I don't know which one is which. Anyway, how do you stop someone from taking too much time at meetings, especially when they are off topic? Oh my goodness, that used to be one of my pet peeves too. Now I'm picturing, what is it, the Golden Girls, when Betty White goes into all those descriptions about what happened on the farm or whatnot. That happens, unfortunately. And because we care so much about letting everybody be heard and shared governance is so important, it's really awkward to interrupt people. We want to make sure that we're giving everybody a chance to talk and nobody feels excluded. And because of that, in some meetings, it opens up an opportunity for people to go on and on and on and on about something that may not be of interest to everybody in the room. So I get it when you say, how do you stop them from taking too much time at the meeting? Well, honestly, I feel like kindness is a good thing. Wasting time is not. So what you can do when someone goes on and on a tangent is you have to help them redirect their thoughts, because that's just how their mind works. They're thinking about that story, the background, this or that, or how something relates to something else. And you're really not doing anybody a service by letting that go on for too long. So redirect. Make sure that you ask how what they're saying is relating to the question, how that's related to the point. It's hard for me to suggest questions to redirect without having a specific example, but I'm sure you see what I mean is if it's not clear how what they're saying relates to the topic, bring them back to the topic. And when you interrupt them, do it before you get annoyed. Do it with a smile, do it with compassion, and really acknowledge that you want the information from them, but you're redirecting them in a productive way so that you don't wait until you're upset, because when you're upset, you're more likely to snap. And if you've had it, no matter how good of a person you are, things are going to come out wrong. So do it before it gets too annoying. Let's see, another way too to make them not talk so much is to engage others. So when you interrupt them and you feel like they're done, definitely ask other people around the room to contribute ideas and not just say, does anybody have a comment? Because that's just not going to be necessarily going to help people come out of their shell or speak up if they don't feel comfortable doing it for a reason or another. So ask specific people some specific questions and really engage them more. And honestly, if that's not enough, if that doesn't work, and you still have that person over there who loves talking and they go on and on and on and on, you have to talk to them privately. Don't do it in front of the whole group. You don't want to embarrass them. You just want to help them understand your perspective. So when you do it, make sure that you're speaking to them in a way that they can hear you and they can understand how you are on the same team and you have the same goals. So don't sound judgmental. Don't say you talk too much or you're off topic or we've heard your stories too many times. You're not Betty White in the Golden Girl. Don't go that route. Definitely be kind, but maybe you can explain that there's some more junior people around the table and you want to give them a chance to talk. Or if you know that that person is moved and influenced by flattery, you can tell them how you value their opinion and you feel like you already know what they're going to say. And now you want to use those meetings to develop leadership skills in other people. So you're really reassuring them, saying, I know you're a leader. I know you have great ideas, great input. Now I want to help everyone else around the table really speak up and really step up. So help me maybe even mentor them, help me create space for them to step up in that new way. So give them purpose. Actually show them how talking less is going to make them feel good, look good, and appeal to what motivates them, to give them a reason for wanting to talk less. And that can most certainly make them want to be on your team and not talk so much. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I just have so many memories popping up. I'm cracking up, but I need to keep my laughter for later. Let's see. Next question from Diane. How do I reduce interruptions? I can't control how my days go because people show up in my office with questions and tend to overstay their welcome. Yeah, that brings up lots of memories too. Diane, so actually I have good news for you. This is such a common problems that I have an entire section in the program on reducing interruptions. And it's in Module 2, Part D. So you may want to take a look at that, Module 2, Part D on interruptions. But I still want to answer your questions. Let's see. People show up in your office with questions. All right, so the first part here is you have to ask yourself what kind of interruptions you want to accept and what kind you don't. Because when you get really crystal clear as to what deserves an immediate interruption and what is just not justifying an immediate interruption, that's when you can start communicating expectations and guidelines and make people understand when it's okay or not okay to just show up in your office. So you need to really start by having this clarity and then communicate it and make sure that everyone's needs are met. Make sure everyone knows how to get your attention, how to get answers from you, but do it in a better way so that it doesn't hijack your day. But again, start with clarity on structure, guidelines, and then communicate it and make sure you remain accessible. But there's a difference between accessible and just being open to constant interruptions. Second part of your question is actually really, really helpful for everyone probably watching this. You're saying they tend to overstay their welcome. All right, so this is what happens. Somebody walks into your office, and in this moment, it's too late to have them not walk into your office, but you definitely still have the power to decide how long they stay in your office. So remember that whatever you allow continues. You get what you tolerate. So if you're letting somebody who, for whatever reason, wants to spend a whole hour gossiping about something, if you're allowing it, you're implicitly giving them permission, and it's going to happen again and again. So you really have to be in control of what happens in your office. So what I would recommend that you do is when someone shows up, and they may or may not ask if you have a minute, but they need to understand that you don't necessarily have a full hour for them. So when somebody shows up, ask them what their question is or what they need from you. Phrase it in a way that sounds like you, not like me. And the goal is really to understand what they need and figure out if it's urgent, if it's important, and for you to decide if you can do it now or later. If it is a crisis, which happens actually quite a bit, something is happening right now, it needs your attention right now, then by all means, give it some time. But if somebody shows up with something that's not important, not urgent, and you don't want to just blow them off, you can't tell them, that's not important and that's not urgent. Why are you bothering me? Obviously you can't say that, but what you can say is, I'm on a deadline, so I can't give you the time you deserve immediately, but I really want to give you the appropriate amount of time, and I want to give you my undivided attention. So talk to whoever your assistant is, let's say Mary. please ask Mary to set up an appointment for you because I really want to give you the attention you need. I want to give you the time. I want to give you my undivided attention. I just don't have the time right now. So they'll feel heard. They will feel understood. They will feel that you care, but also understand that you have a big job and right now you just can't make that time. And they will be okay. They will really, really be okay. Don't underestimate people's ability to understand. You have a big job. You have a lot to do. And a lot of people who are taking your time and really getting in the way of you being able to do your job successfully have no idea. Maybe they value the relationship and they just love talking with you, or maybe they love complaining or gossiping or whatever that might be, but they're actually not doing that to hurt your ability to do your job. They're a little bit clueless, so you help them understand. And again, make sure they're heard, make sure they're understood, and make sure that you still give them what they need, but you do it when it works for you. All right. Okay, this one's great. I actually got this from someone who said, do not say my name on the video. So this is from Anonymous. Anonymous says, I signed up for the program, but I can't find the time to start it. Help! All right, Anonymous, guess what? I am sure you are not alone because when I sent an email asking people to send me questions, I got the majority of responses were, well, I haven't quite gotten that far into it, or I have just started, I don't have questions yet. And so you're not alone, but let me tell you what I found out so far. What makes sense is to wait to get started when you're expecting this to be hard, or when you're expecting this to take a lot of time, or when you're expecting it to challenge you in some ways. So please understand, this is not a college course. This is a coaching program done by someone like me who's ridiculously obsessed with not taking too much of your time. So what I've done is, first of all, there's only 5 modules. Each module is less than 30 minutes long. You can listen to the audios on your phone, on your computer, anywhere you want. You can download them. It's super, super convenient. So for each module, you have less than 30 minutes of audio. You have the transcript. If you don't like my French accent, or if you'd rather read along, or if you just want it in writing, it's there. And then you do your worksheets, and that's usually about a half an hour. Some people do it quicker, some people do it longer. So really, it's an hour per module. And it's only 5 modules. So we're talking 5 hours of your life. 5 hours. If you were to find 5 hours to watch your favorite show on Netflix, it wouldn't take that long. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is your approach. If you're looking at this as it's going to be hard, it's going to take too long, you're not really going to be excited about getting started. But if you were to think about it as this is the solution that you need to be able to make some serious changes in your life so that you get to leave the office on time every day. You get your work done. You're not so stressed out. You feel happier. You have to really look at the payoffs, what this means to you. How will that change your life? And what kind of drama might you be facing today, or delays or frustration where you have a problem today and the answer is in the audio and the audio is in your phone and you just have to press play to get your answer. How about that? So really look at it for what it is. It's not a program where you have to go and do readings and all sorts of assignments and there's no essay. I mean, this is just a half hour or less audio. Most audios are 20 or 25 minutes long. You just get what you need. You do your worksheets, and then you have about a week that you can implement what you're learning, because it's not about just listening to that stuff and doing your worksheets. I want you to have time to implement, integrate, and create new habits. So 1 hour per week. I'm sure you can find an hour per week. Keep your eyes on the goal. Think about how this will change your life, how valuable it's going to be. And I promise you, you can definitely get it done. Think about it. It's about 5 or 6 hours of work in total. And that's spread in what, a month? Or you can even do it in a week. Or if for whatever reason you still have a block, you can make it even easier. So let's say if you don't want to do the worksheets and you feel like it's too much, you just don't have time for one more thing, you can listen to one audio as you drive to work every morning. 5 audios, 5 work days. By the end of the week, you will have listened to everything. And instead of doing all of the worksheets right away, when you park your car, because I don't want you taking those when you're driving, you can ask yourself, what are the 2 or 3 takeaways that I'm getting from today's from today's audio. And that's going to start already planting seeds in your mind. It's already going to start giving you some structure. So, baby steps, do it at whatever pace is right for you, but get started because you laugh. I mean, when you look at it, it is not a huge course. It is a coaching program. It is created for you. It is for busy higher ed administrators. And I don't need to say more. I think I've made my case. It's not a big deal. You'll be fine. Just get started. And when you get started, you're actually going to have a ton of tools to get motivated. But I don't want to put this on this video because there's pages on that already. It's in the course. Just get in the course. Let's see. Next question, Anna. About work-life balance, how do I know if I'm doing it right? You know what? It's a great question. How do you know if you're doing it right? So first of all, when I talk about work-life balance, I don't mean 50-50. I know work-life balance has a bad reputation because people say, you can't have balance. It's about flow. It's about this. It's about that. I don't care what terminology you use. I don't care what words work for you. I just want you to stop killing yourself because one day you're going to realize it was all for nothing and it wasn't worth it. So when I'm talking about achieving balance, just think about it as you're not falling down. You're not going to crash. You're not going to be hurt. So work-life balance, it's really about being able to be productive, feeling accomplished, but not at the expense of your well-being. It's basically feeling good about your life and feeling good about your work. So how do you know if you're doing it right? There are no measurements. It's not something where I can say, fill out that worksheet and it will tell you if you're doing it right. To know if you're doing it right, it's very simple. Let me ask you, how do you feel? How do you feel right now? And if you're feeling like you're not accomplishing enough and you're falling behind and you're trying to work fewer hours but it doesn't feel good, then that's not working. If you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling worried, if you still haven't had time to do what you want to do, clearly you're not doing it right. I hate to say this because it's not about right and wrong, but you know what I mean. I mean, there's some progress that is needed. But if you're feeling well, if you're feeling like you're clear on your priorities, you're getting your work done, you're feeling accomplished, it's working. You have your free time, you have serenity, you're not worried about your work anymore, you have time for your family, you have time to maybe exercise or meditate and do things to take care of yourself, then you're doing it right. So how do you know if you're doing it right? You just check how you feel. How you feel will give you the answers. When you feel good, you're doing it right. Okay, let's see. Sandra, I implemented what you said and now I can leave the office on time almost every day, but I worry that people will think that I'm not as committed as I used to be. You know what? This is actually a really cool question, but you know what it means when you're saying, well, first of all, congratulations for implementing what I talked about and making those changes and going home on time most days. That's a huge accomplishment. Give yourself credit for that. The second part, when you say you worry that people will think you're not as committed as you used to be. So first of all, let me reassure you that judgment is your own because you're judging yourself, because you're probably looking at yourself thinking, I know that I'm definitely earning my paycheck. I know I'm doing a good job, but I don't know if people will see that too. So you're really questioning this because maybe before you took the course, you would have been the one judging someone who's leaving at 5 every day. And maybe those are just old beliefs. So understand that when you're worried about other people judging you in that situation, it's probably your own judgment and you can let go of that because you know you're earning your paycheck, you know you're doing a good job, you know you deserve to go home on time, and you know you're really doing everything you need to do and there's no reason to kill yourself. What you're doing now is just right. So acknowledge that. That's going to give you that sense of security and that's how you're going to drop the judgment. Now, I also know people do judge others quite a bit. And the truth is, when somebody judges you, it's not so much about your behavior, it's about their own beliefs. So if there is someone who is stuck in that old mentality that administrators must put in a ton of hours, they have to sacrifice, they have to be there day and night and weekends and answer emails within 5 minutes. And anybody who's in that frame of mind anyway, who is judging a lot of people anyway, can potentially be judging you now, but honestly, who cares? Why should you even waste any kind of time trying to please someone who's so disconnected from reality? someone who's living in a universe that is cruel and wrong, where life isn't fun. Just don't worry about this. And the other thing too is I have a feeling that the habits you're changing are not going to be seen by anyone else but you. Because I've seen it happen time and time again, because I have lots of clients with that exact same worry. What if people look at me and they think I don't care anymore? And what I'm telling them after the fact is always, so what's being said? How are you being judged? And they said, no one's saying anything. No, I don't think anybody noticed. I don't think anybody cares. And it's true, because guess what? When you've done a good job and you've shown dedication for some time, many months or many years even, people know you. People are not going to change their opinion of you because now you're going home on time. Now, if you were a no-show, if you were taking advantage, not doing your work, missing deadlines, being impossible to find during work hours, then yes, of course, they would notice and you could get in trouble. And actually you should, because you're here to serve. You're not here to not do your job. But if you're just talking about doing your job and going home on time, I promise you, in most cases, nobody will know. Nobody will notice because there's nothing wrong. So don't worry about it. I hope I convinced you not to worry. The judgment is your own. Let that go. Some people will judge, but honestly, most people are not going to notice. You've proven yourself time and time and time again. Your reputation is not that fragile. Just because you go home on time, on time isn't going to change anything, I promise. And let's see. Oh yeah, and something else. When it comes to judging, I can promise you one more thing. Most people are not so worried about what you're doing and judging you because they're way too busy judging themselves, feeling insecure, doubting themselves, obsessing about their own worth and their own behavior and how they are perceived. So all that energy that you're putting into trying to please other people, the other people don't care. They're too busy thinking about themselves. So let that go too. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this so late in the day. I guess I'm feeling a little goofy right now, but it's true. It's true. Maybe it's best you get me on my not so professional moment, because it's true. Stop being worried about being judged. All right, let's see. Next question. Actually, we're getting close to the bottom. Cool. We both get to enjoy our evening. All right, Sandra, for what type of project should I use your outcome-driven framework? For what type of project should you use it? Well, let's start by when do you not use it? So don't use it for small tasks. Don't use it for anything that's really easy. But do use it for anything that's complex, anything that goes over several months, anything that involves multiple people, where you have to make sure everybody knows what they're doing and by when. Let's see, when things can be easily overlooked. Anytime something can easily go wrong, that's when you want to have that kind of structure in place. When something big is at stake, definitely you want to use it. What else? When something is new, let's say you have a new project you've never done before and you know there's going to be a learning curve, don't expect to just wing it. It's much better to have that system in place. And yeah, maybe sometimes also when you're not really sure how to go about something, you've done it before, but you feel like you can improve upon how you usually do it. So for those of you watching this and thinking, what are you talking about, outcome driven? I will show you in the course, it's actually module 3. I explain how anytime you're using any kind of resources, effort, energy, time, money, anything, it's really important to get crystal clear on what outcomes you seek from those efforts, because what I see is a lot of energy and time and money wasted on things that aren't necessarily going to give you what you're looking for. So instead of doing things the way everybody does it or the way you've always done something, you can really look at, okay, so what's my overarching goal? You have to be crystal clear on your goal. And then for that goal to be met, what are the specific outcomes that you need to create? And then for each of the outcomes, you start listing some tasks. And then for each task, you put a timeline and you put a priority. So you'll see there's this entire section in the course. It's actually a lot easier than it sounds the way I just explained it. And I'm so going to blame it on this being too late in the day. But seriously, when you get to that module, you'll see it's not that hard. It's super, super helpful. It's bringing a lot of benefits. It's much better than the to-do list. And it's sort of your your bulletproof method to getting stuff done right and on time, where nothing's forgotten, nothing falls through the cracks. I really encourage you to do it for anything that's significant, difficult, complex. Don't do it for small tasks, because anytime you know how to do something and you need no system at all, don't add another thing on your to-do list. Don't go create something you don't need. Okay, I think that's about it. Let me scroll down some more. Yeah, that was the last one. So what I'm hearing is you guys are doing great. Yay, congratulations. All the questions so far are on the beginning of the course. So keep at it, keep going through the modules, send me your questions. I think that questions will get even more exciting with the next part. We get into the really, well, my favorite stuff. Module 5 is my favorite by far. So keep at it. Let me know if you have any more questions. You can email me, send me stuff on LinkedIn, or if you have my email, that's the best way to reach me. And I will be doing a new one in a week or two. As soon as I have enough questions to do a video, then I'll get back on it. And again, if you're watching this and you're not a participant in the course, we just started, it's self-paced. You can click on the link. If it looks good to you, sign up. We'd love to have you. All right, bye everyone. Have a good evening.